Welcome to Sage Sisters. We are sisters, besties, moms, and co-founders having a fun catch-up on parenting and life.
Hi, I'm Ann.
And I'm Kate. All right, Ann, let's get into it. What's the weekly high?
My weekly high this week is pretty short, but it's bringing me a lot of joy. My 2.5-year-old Lily is starting to speak more and more each day, and she's starting to mimic or pick up on things that are just said around the house. And Phil and I, before kids, would probably cuss more than the average person. Just, it was just kind of casual cussing. And so since now having kids, we try to switch it up. So Phil has kind of changed it to golly when the kids are doing something. And it's been funny. So I picked it up. And so it's just like, someone will spill something and it's like, golly, instead of the shit. And so Lily started to pick it up and she's been saying it all over the place and in context. And it's so funny. It's like, she's like a old man in a little 2.5-year-old body, and it's just making me smile a lot. So that's my high this week.
Little shared video of her saying, "I miss Ellie" or whatever. It's like I haven't really heard her speak in full sentences, and it melted me.
Well, and you go into the doctor and they say something, and you're always like, "Are we behind?" They're like, last time we went in for a checkup, they're like, "She should be saying 3 words together," and it's like. And you go back and look at videos of your other kids and they were speaking full sentences. Lola was a little bit of a speech prodigy. Like she was just speaking paragraphs at age 2, which is just not normal. So anyways, I go back and I'm like, have we been neglecting the third? But they say like the third is everybody's talking for them. And in our household, everybody talks a lot.
Yeah.
So it is normal that she was behind, but she's starting to catch up rapidly now. And so hearing her say, "I miss baby Ellie," like 4 words strung together, her little cousin is just, it's so sweet. So,
oh my goodness. Plus she's just looking old. Like she's taken on a new look. I think it's the speaking, but also the little, messy bun and
she's full on toddler kid now. She's not a baby anymore. Mm-hmm. So it's super cute. We had to give up the crib this week. It should be my low, but it's not. And, we're just moving baby stuff around and it's starting to make me a little sad, but I'm also looking forward to cribless. So I'm like very excited for the next stage, but as she's getting older, it is a little bit like there are moments of, oh, my baby,
how'd you feel about moving the crib out? I remember for me, I couldn't kick it to the curb fast enough, but I know some people really... hang on
from a design perspective, I've been ready to get rid of this thing. It's huge. It's in a room that we already had a bed in. And she took to the bed. She now is like in a full bed with railings and the whole shebang. She's safe, but she took to it. She doesn't crawl out. I think part of the issue you don't want to get rid of the crib is when you think they're going to like continue to come out or be harder for naps. She loves it. She asked to go up there. So I honestly, I am ready to get it out of here just because I can't stand clutter. And so it's nice to get rid of it. But there was a little moment of like, oh, we're not keeping this because we're not having any more kids. Like weird feeling.
End of an era, baby.
I know. Anyways, I said it was a short high and here we are 10 minutes later. What's your high this week?
Well, I mentioned last week's podcast how my hobby is tennis, but I had a really fun Saturday. There was a charity tennis and pickleball tournament, and it's actually a friend of mine, short aside for something a little sad, but a friend of mine from preschool, her daughter passed away when she was 4 of a neurological disease.
Oh my gosh.
Of course, truly devastating, but she's really poured a lot of her grief into this charity called Molly Smiles. And I don't know. I think I can't sit for too long with that. It makes me too sad, but also this event was wonderful. There were 130 people there. The tennis tournament was super fun. It was really like a celebration. And she's up there giving this beautifully celebratory speech. I'm in the corner, weeping still.
Right.
But it just was a really happy day. And
it's nice to support her in that way. And I love that she's doing an event like that
kind of
Yeah,
putting.
and most importantly, I won the tennis tournament, so that's kind of what I wanted to make sure got in
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
What a little humble brag.
For my level, ... which isn't very good. But it was just great. Chris was there too. He played pickle, so it was like a fun time that even he and I could hang out. Kind of felt like a date at times. The booze was a-flowing, the laughs were loud, and the music was pumping. So it just, what a good day.
I love
Also,
that.
not having to parent your kids from 9 till 5 on a Saturday, like, what is
That's
this
the
world?
dream.
It was awesome.
Day dates, day drinking, that's where it's at right now. It's like you want to go to bed early still and feel good the next day, but like having a day date is so nice.
What I think is it was for a good cause. It was totally guilt-free.
Yeah.
I might have had a little more guilt had I just had like, a girls' day at the spa or whatever, and Chris was watching the kids all day. But it's like he and I were both gone, having a great time.
Yeah.
Anyways, what a day. I put together a day.
Side note, still love spa days, but yeah, I understand what you're saying there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's a good high. I love it.
All right, what's your low?
My low is I just love a DIY project or just want to do things around the house myself. And we've kind of, not by choice, just kind of by like interest, have divided up household things. Like I do a lot of the stuff inside the house. Phil does the outside. He loves yard work. He loves all these things. And so when there's a project that I need his help with, I can't wait. It's like I ask him to do something and I sit there and watch it not happen. So then I'm like, I'll just do it myself. So we've been, I said I moved the crib out of Lily's room, but we are trying to finish her room too. So, I want the hangers or the curtains to be hung differently. And we have a couple things to be hanging in the room. So I just did it myself. And now here I sit with holes in my wall that need to be patched up and painted again for my husband to redo because it didn't go well for me. And I just get so like, I just want to be better at DIY stuff because I have visions all the time. And it's like, it brings up like, we want to redo our master bathroom at some point. It's just not in the cards anytime soon. And so I was just doing that. We have that old brass look around the shower. And so I tried to like spray paint it because I watched a bunch of videos that were like, you can just spray paint the brass this like matte silver and it will look so much better and like less out of date. And it went so wrong. And I gassed myself in there on accident without windows open. So it's just like one project after the next that I just screw up, and I want to be better at it.
Well, I know you like home renovation show as much as I do. Plus, I follow all these DIYers on Instagram that make it look so easy.
You watch a little clip and you're like, I could do that. Oh, simple. You buy all the things, the supplies, which sometimes add up, and then it's like you get in there and mess it all up, and it's just like, oh god, golly,
Totally.
Anyways, that was my
now
low.
it's half done, and you're still waiting on Phil. Is where that ended.
Exactly. So on Sunday, I said to him, I would really love to just have the day to do things and catch up. So, of course, we overplan. We're out of the house all day. We're too tired to do it when we get home. Here we are, Tuesday. Still hasn't been done. So I'm hopeful that I can push the issue this week, but it's just, who knows? I'll update you in 2 weeks and let you know if it's still sitting there.
Yeah, I'm going to bet against that one. Gotta be honest.
What is your low this week?
I don't know if this is happening to you, but I have this group of friends from business school, and we like to get together, I don't know, every other month maybe for a girls' dinner in San Francisco. And, I live in the burbs 40 minutes out. Another one lives 40 minutes the other way. So it does take a decent amount of coordination.
Right.
We were supposed to have one last night. I was super excited about it. I had cleared my schedule, and then last minute something came up. I can't make it. You guys go without me. But it's like, we don't want to go without you because we're making a pretty big effort to get there. So we decided to reschedule. But like, I guess the theme here is rescheduling friend dinners and Ugh,
Totally
I don't
relatable.
know. Like, I get so annoyed when a doodle comes in and I have to do a doodle for a dinner. I get annoyed when somebody last minute changes their plans or something comes up, even though, of course, it does. Like,
Right. We all have busy lives. We all have different things going on. You know, I totally get it because I do it sometimes too, but I hate it. I have been trying to schedule a girls' night here, and everybody lives right next to each other. And it's still a struggle. And what we compromised with is tomorrow night we are going to a friend's house, walking to their house and having a little wine night on the porch, which will be delightful. But we were supposed to go out. We've said once a quarter we're actually going to go out and have fun. And it's just, this is what we're doing. And we're still going to try to plan that, but who knows? So I get it. It's
like for my local friends, like the ones in Danville, if you flake or something comes up or if one person can't make it, tough cookies. You're out, we're moving, like you're either in or you're out. You know?
Sister.
But to schlep all the way to the city, it's like, no, I want a perfect turnout. I want this. And we do always have fun when we're there, but it's just, it doesn't have that chillness because I'm making a bigger effort on my end. So it's like, no, I want a good dinner res. I want everybody there.
Yeah, totally.
Or I'm sure it would still be fun. We probably should just do it and get used to that. But
yeah,
we always are rescheduling.
It's a bigger effort. It's a bigger time commitment to go into the city, and like you just want everybody to be there. It's easier to reschedule when you're local. Yeah,
scheduling mom dinners real low.
Like keep going to my closet. Yeah, nights out. I keep going to my closet and seeing all these cute outfits that like I haven't worn because all I wear is like, you know, tennis skirts or athletic wear around. And it's just like, I want to dress up. I think it's so fun to dress up. And like, that's part of it for me is just like on occasion, look, I'm not one that wants to do it all the time anymore, but like, it's so fun to get gussied up. And like, you know, I got some new makeup from Sephora the other day. I want to try it out. You know, like I want to get. Maybe
my low should have been a friend of mine recently watched my kids here, which was awesome. But she went into my closet and looked around and she goes, wow, Chris is so organized with all his clothes. Where do you keep your clothes? My closet palette and just general vibe made her
Chris
think it was 100% my husband's clothes. I was like, those are actually my clothes.
Your style, I love your style because it's like comfy chic, but like classic. You are one that like will spend a lot on an item but have few items and they all look good. You know, I've always envied that. Mine is like the opposite where you had to help me clean out my closet and every time we pulled something out, I was like, oh, I love it. I could wear it. Gross. You could do better. You know, so you did help cleanse my closet and it feels great. Like it's funny because I feel like I'm so organized and clean in my whole life, but my closet is where I have more clothes that like I'm never going to get into ever again. Or like it's out of style, get rid of it. So I envy your closet, but I can see that a little bit.
Well, maybe we need to meet in the middle. The fact I didn't have like one cute going out top that made her think it was a women's closet potentially is a flag. So
and I have too many like Zara outfits that like probably should have been like, you can't wear them anymore. That was when you were 30.
Well, you're hanging on to a lot. I feel like your thing is just you have the what if I go on a vacation and by the way, I'm 15 pounds later and by the way, what if it's a little bit cold but also chilly? It's like
totally. It still could happen for me, but
you're hanging on to too much. I think we need to release that into the universe.
It's clear. I still have like a little like in poor man's Carrie Bradshaw where I go in there and think this could be trendy, you know, and I put it on and it's like, what? It's not fun. It's not giving funky chic. It's giving like yikes. Wouldn't have done that. So here we are.
I appreciate your willingness to take a fashion risk, though.
I try, you know, and you know immediately when you go out if people are responding well to it. So sometimes you've just nailed it, and like your friends are like, "That's so cute. I'd love to borrow it." And other times you're like, "Oh, that's so cute." Like, oop, miss. That's a miss today.
That's a miss, and it's a miss. It's just clothes. I like how you go after it.
It's where you can explore. All right. Shall we get into the topic of the day?
Did you do your low?
Yeah, my low was
half-baked Renos.
Half-baked Renos. And honestly, this could be a low every week if I wanted it to be. I'll continue to bring half-baked Renos to the table.
Okay, cool. Well, then let's get into the subject of the day. You're up this week. So what did you bring to the table here?
My topic is something that you and I have kind of talked about off like line a little bit. And it is kids sports. So we come from a sports family. We love sports. Our kids are playing sports right now. My 7-year-old son is showing signs of athleticism, and we're already starting to, which is why I want to bring this topic up, get into that world of, travel sports, people pushing the agenda too soon, trying to like play the same sport multiple seasons. It's a topic in this house, so I'd love to just like talk about it here a little bit more and get your opinions. But that's really it. It's like all things kids in sports, from too much to like trying to also get my other child who doesn't have a ton of interest into sports and getting that physical activity to be something she wants to do too. So that's kind of the topic.
His vibe with it? Like, is he super gung-ho about it, or like what are you working with?
Ace is obsessed with sports. So we are at a place where the kid's first word was ball, which is funny now. He loves all things sports. It ranges from golf to baseball is a big one, to he loves football, but he hasn't played yet in a recreational team yet, to basketball.
Is he doing soccer?
He did soccer last season, so that's why he's kind of thriving in baseball. So he's doing baseball this season.
Fall ball.
And so we, as a family, established last year, we're going to do one sport per kid per season, because we overextended ourselves one season where they were each in 2 and it was just a lot. And we still have another little baby who's not in sports, but we have to drag her around everywhere. So, and then we were trying to coach. So we just overextended ourselves one season, was like, let's just hone in on one sport. But I would say he just wants to do it all. So that's also our issue, is like, I don't want him to get burnt out. I want him to do multi-sport.
But he practices. He's not a kid that's going, I don't want to go to practice.
He's the one that like, you get home from like playing all day outside doing different sports, and you sit on the couch for a half second to take a breather, and he's like, well, you want to go throw the football with me? It's like, we just did that, Yeah. So we did a couple things to help us, which is we got him a golf putting green for his room. It's like one of those tiny ones, but he'll sit up there all day and do the putting green. He's constantly, even just if we're in the living room, he's just constantly got a ball, throwing it up and down against the wall. He's always getting in trouble throwing stuff. So he's really into it. So that's part of it, is like he wants to do a lot of stuff.
How intense is his baseball? Is it like a couple times a week practice yet? Or is he still, what level of intensity are you at?
Right now we're in a good intensity because we did summer ball, which was way too much. So right now he's only practicing twice a week, and then we have one game. And
so 3 times a week.
That seems healthy to me because they're getting more competitive and he's liking it. Phil is coaching, one of the coaches, so that's nice. They have a little outlet for themselves. But we did an all-star league this summer, and it was like kind of the first taste of travel. And they were like, oh, it's only 2 tournaments locally, and practices just a few times a week, and only the month of June. And it was like 3 times a week practice for 2 hours each, plus batting practice, an additional another night or 2 that was optional in quotations, plus a tournament on the weekends. And then there ended up
really 4 plus times a week.
4 plus times a week, plus your whole weekend is a tournament. And it was like a very condensed version of travel ball. I don't know how parents do it. What is Grace, your oldest? Like, what are you seeing out in California in sports with her?
Well, we got a taste of like that level of intensity with swim, and that's just like swim culture. But swim practice is every day with 2 meets a week. I mean, it's six out of 7 days
Yeah.
You're swimming.
Right.
And I told Chris, this seems nuts. And they start that at 5.
Right.
5, 6 is the age bracket, and then 7, 8, and she's 8. And this was only our second year doing it. And again, she likes it. So my vibe was, we can do swim, but I don't know if we're going to go every day. But it does change it when the kid is sort of pushing it a little bit.
Right. Yeah.
And so, we bent over backwards to get her there, but it was one of the reasons this summer was like too chaotic.
Yeah, it's hard.
Part of it is I just didn't have enough help.
Right.
Chris and I were both trying to work. Of course, swim is middle of the day with camps. Like the whole thing was insane. But I guess
the
very
majority of
the
people,
sports,
though, a lot of people don't have help like that. That's us too. And that's realistic. That's where most people are, especially when you have school age kids and you don't need full-time childcare. You don't have childcare like that.
Well, and I guess going like a little bit more broadly, soccer, she's in now. It's just one practice, one game a week. She's also doing fall basketball. It literally is just one day a week for 2 hours on Sundays. And I'm coaching that. So we're right now at 3 times a week for sports, which feels about right to me. Like whether it's 1 or 2 activities, for me, it's almost just like, what is the sheer number of hours per week? And like, do we have enough time to be bored and goof around outside and have a family dinner? Or is it every night we're moving? Now, the tricky thing is Cal's starting to enter the fray. So he also has soccer practice and a game. So, and I'm doing basketball for him too for the first time this year. So he'll have 3. So we'll have 6 things a week.
Yeah.
So I think this was like the beginning of the new era for us.
Oh, wow.
And I also have a lot of friends who, and we've interviewed hundreds of parents over the last year. So this issue has come up, and I feel like I do have a pretty good flavor. And I do think where we live here in Bay Area suburbia, sports are really intense here, and people are doing really aggressive travel schedules. They're, kids in elementary school, but more like 3rd, 4th, 5th, practicing 4 times a week plus games.
Yeah.
For pretty much every sport. Like soccer in about 3rd grade here starts splitting between rec and competitive.
Right.
I know soccer is really intense here. Even football here, they have something called T-Birds where I live, and on the cheerleading side and on the football side.
Right. Yeah.
That gets really intense.
Mm-hmm.
And again, to me, if you're over the 2 times a week threshold per activity, it's escalating.
At 7 and 6, it just seems like a lot. My thing is like weekday nights is fine. And like I'm already feeling
I don't like when every night, it's school, it's homework, it's kid activity, you're jamming in a dinner, it's sleep. It's like some nights that's fine, but I don't like 5 out of 5 nights where that's our reality.
Well, when that's happening and then you have your weekends. So Lola is now 6 and she is kind of like really into singing and, I think she will want to do songwriting and cute things. We might get her back in gymnastics.
But that can be intense too. They have a theater program here that can be just as nuts.
I would be totally fine with that, but I want her to do one physical activity too. And so I pushed her into soccer again. She did it last fall and hated it, and I was her coach. So this year I decided I'm not going to coach her because she was kind of asking me to come out and stuff. So I was like, I think if somebody else coached her, maybe she'll have a different response. But she is she's getting, it's 6. She's kind of into it. She kind of cries on the way to practice. I don't want to go. But then she's there and she's having fun. But my whole point of bringing this part up was that the coaches choose, I think. But it's limited times. But her time slot we got was Friday at 6 p.m. for practice. So every Friday night is ruined for this whole fall. And then on top of it, we have games on Saturday for both Ace and Lola. Mm-hmm. And then practice on Sunday for Ace. So it just feels like our whole week is gone, and there's no more spontaneity of just like, let's go visit, Sarah and Ryan, our other sister and family, mm-hmm. let's go do a small, like,
Very
day
booked.
fun thing. It's just very booked. So it just feels like that's where we are. We love sports, so I'm here for it, but it's a lot. And then people feeling like you're missing the boat not doing every sport. Like, I'm feeling a little guilty that we didn't sign Ace up for flag football this year because he's so in love with it. And truthfully, we just missed the date on it. And we'll do it. There's a spring one coming up. We're going to do 2 in spring for
I
him.
think this is actually a really good point because there is this sense of FOMO of like,
Yes.
I'm going to miss out if I
Right.
don't sign up my kid for every
Right.
season of the thing.
And if
And
he loves
even
every
text-
sport and is good, we don't want to pinpoint him into one sport. That seems awful. So it's like, let him do everything. But then with that, it's like, that's hard to do. Let him do everything. It's hard to do.
Well, even my mom thread last night, one of them was, hey, so-and-so registration just opened, and everyone's like flying to do it.
Right.
You know, there is this sense of urgency almost of like, oh, everything, you know, you got to be on it as a mom and you got to sign
Totally.
them up. And if you don't,
And
I do
months in
think that
advance.
this-
Months in advance. Like, I was
this was for
casually...
literally it's August. That was for a March to June season.
Yes. I was sitting in May, casually texting a friend who was like, "Are you doing soccer and baseball, or which one for Lola?" Just Lola. And I said, "I think we're just going to do soccer." She was like, "Oh, are you signed up?" I was like, "Oh, no, I'm going to do that." And she's like, "The deadline is in 2 hours." And I was like, frantically, like, thank goodness she texted me. But I was like, oh my gosh, like,
I definitely set
May
alarms
for-
to sign up for the crazy
Yeah.
camp or the crazy sports thing.
totally.
Here's what I'll say though. This is a tricky one if your kid really loves it. And I was a serious athlete. I played in college, and our parents did nutty things for me.
Totally.
I was on travel teams, but it does feel like it's starting earlier. So like I was on a travel team in middle school.
Right.
I played every day.
Did it start in middle school? I can't remember when we did travel soccer, but like your big travel stuff.
My big travel stuff started, well, I should say this, regional level travel
Right.
started
Okay.
in middle school, where
Yeah.
we were driving to Indianapolis for a tournament, which is
Right.
3 hours away from our hometown of Evansville, Indiana.
It's
We
not
were
nothing.
driving-
Yeah.
No, I consider that serious travel.
Right.
Some of that happened in middle school, but I don't think as frequently. Like we might have had 1 or 2 tournaments a
Right.
season at that level, and most of them were within an hour drive.
Right.
It does seem like this generation does that level of intensity now in elementary. So we have moved up that level of intensity for 4 years. I think part of it is the sports organizations are privately run, and it's a business for them. I mean, they're running these things to optimize for the cash. And the more
Right.
travel things you do, the more intense, the more practices, the more money
Right.
they can charge. And, you know, I'm a capitalist, but like those incentives are a little ick for me, right?
Yeah.
It's like we're not actually doing what makes sense. I also think parents really do, and maybe this is the social media actually to the parents, are like, we've reframed what it means to be a good parent.
Right.
But parents feel like I have to book my kids in all this stuff to be a good parent, or,
Right.
you know, they think this is what good looks like. And, oh, I want my kid to play in high school. Like, I really
Right.
value that. So to optimize my kid's chances, I'm going to play competitive soccer in 2nd grade and
Right.
commit to all this stuff.
I
And
saw something.
I actually don't think that's always the case, because none of these little leaguers that are making it to nationals, you know, their families have just committed like crazy. They're not the ones actually playing.
I was just
Pro
going to say,
baseball.
you probably saw the same video I saw this week on that, which is some professional athlete was going, I can't remember who it was, but it was going around saying like, you know, none of those little leaguers are the ones who make it because they get burnt out. And like, you know, we didn't push the issue. Maybe we could have, but a couple of Aces All-Star team members are now on a travel all year round baseball, and they're honing in on baseball. And I'm like, I mean, first of all, going to one sport at this age is not, in my opinion, ideal. Second, they're going to get burnt out. Like, they're kids. And like, most of the time just working outside in the yard with them and having fun one-on-one and getting that parent kid time, but also working with them on a sport is how they get better. Like, and if I heard one of the high school coaches here in Tennessee say, if your kid is athletic, they're not going to be overlooked. Like you have to be playing sports in middle school to get to know, like have people get to know who you are. But if your kid is good, they're not going to not make the team because you didn't play travel or something when they're
I think some people
8.
don't believe that, and I'm not sure that's always true. Like I do believe in some of these effed up systems, you get kind of put on a competitive track, and then the coaches kind of keep those teams. And then I do think it's harder to break in if you're a talented middle schooler. Probably not if you're crazy good. I mean,
but if you're middle of the road talent, which a lot of kids are, and that's like really athletic still, you might be right. It makes me sad though, because it is politics. Like this team I keep referencing, they all knew each other. Ace got on and they didn't really know him too well. And he was kind of like having to work his way up to like be seen. And I don't think they necessarily...
And I'm sure he's just as good as the other kids on that team.
Totally. But they just knew each other from previous times and whatnot. And so I do think that it does make me kind of panic a little bit. Like it's political, whether I want to say it or not. And I do think he has talent to not miss the boat on things, and he could be great. And like he may choose golf, he may choose football and it not be baseball, but like the baseball is what we saw being so competitive and so political. And it's like, it's just...
Well, I have a good friend whose son is in 6th grade, plays really competitive baseball. They are definitely on the extreme of the travel, but he genuinely loves it. The dad played college baseball. Like, I don't want to judge. Like, maybe that's their thing. And like, I was obsessed with basketball. Like, I kind of get it, especially it does look like it's coming from the kid.
Right.
And they still want him in multiple sports. So they really are running all over doing multiple sports. Yeah. And she was saying the coaches don't like multiple sport athletes because, they're not
there all the time. Right. Right.
And so they're getting pressure for him to pick from the coaches. And I was like, ooh, I really hate that. Like,
yeah.
And there was a great book. Like a lot of my attitudes on this, well, one, my own experience, but two, there's a really good book called Range. I know you haven't read it, so I'm not going to ask you, but
listen, I'll put it to the list for 2025. That list is getting long.
To 2025. I thought it was 26.
I think I'm going to get back to reading in 2025. I've decided.
That's only a couple months away. Are you sure?
I'm sure, because last week when we were talking about hobbies and I said my hobby was being in the shower, I really felt bad about myself. So I need to read. I'm going to pick up reading.
Well, this one's great. It has a lot of research basically to like say multi-sport athletes, it's actually better for the kid. It's better for their physical development. They have a better chance of actually playing in college if that's your goal.
Right.
If they do multiple sports. So I thought it was a very compelling book that aligns with sort of what feels right to me, which is like, don't specialize so early.
Yeah.
And I saw so many girls in basketball whose parents were nuts.
Yeah.
Pushing them. And I think they liked it to a certain extent, but there was definitely like a heavy hand in their back, like leaning into them.
Right.
Who played through high school, had opportunities to play at college and opted out. Like,
right.
Just were like, this doesn't look fun, especially at the college level. It's super intense. Like, you have to love it. You were actually in that boat.
I was going to say, do you remember, I had a conversation with you because we both played basketball, volleyball, and track and at a competitive level in high school. And towards the end, I was younger in my class, but I felt like I was really good. I wasn't the star like you until the very end in like senior year, but I was very good athlete in my humble brag. But I'm shorter. I was going to be a bench player in college, and I didn't have the passion like you did. And I asked you because I got recruited to like very small schools. Should I do this? Well, D1, but small. And it was like, should I or shouldn't I? And you just said, I don't think you should. You would rather be going on spring break with your friends than going and playing that sport. And, that was kind of an eye-opening you're right. Like, in some ways now I wish I would have pushed myself a little bit to just see how I would have done. But on the other side, I loved
You
college.
could have played. You absolutely could have played at a competitive D1 level. That was never in question. You were never one who liked practice. And at college level,
It's all about it.
There's a lot of sacrifices at the college level.
I wouldn't say I didn't like practice. I just didn't love sacrifice. I would have rather gone out and hung out with my friends than like go practice or go, spring break was a good one. It's like you never went on spring break because you always were doing a sport. And I was like, sayonara. I keep saying that, but I was like, on my way to Panama City, Florida. Here I come.
And now I feel like I sound like I wasn't pushing you into living your dream and I was clipping your wings. But
I didn't say I like missed the boat on like my dream, but
you just said I have a regret about it, like Fringe City for me.
No. I wonder how I would have done and like where I would have gone, but I probably would have been a bench player or played, a smaller percentage of the time. It would have been
great. I did not see at the time that you enjoyed it.
The drive. Well, that's what it kind of goes with what you were saying. I do agree. Like there was a point where people just say, I'm done. It's a lot. And I was one of those people.
Yeah, totally. Well, sorry if I clipped your wings and stole your dream.
Yeah, I guess we're unpacking childhood trauma. Didn't know I was old on that one.
Exactly. Yikes.
On the other side, though, just being an athlete growing up, not doing my dream, but not living my dream. But being an athlete, I used that in my adulthood. And that's how I met a lot of people. When I would move to a new city, I would join like a rec intramural team, or I would join a gym that was more community based. And I want that for Lola. So like on the flip side, I have a son who is super into sports and I feel like I'm not doing enough for him. And then on the other side, I'm trying to push Lola to be a little bit more motivated into a sport.
Yeah.
And like if she chooses it, theater or something too, it's going to be great. I just always want her to do a physical activity as well. And so I'm just like really pushing the issue because it was so good for me in my life, And it's, I don't know.
One of my hopes here, though, as part of Sage Parents, which is our initiative to support elementary school parents navigating tech, is that we get more child-led play. And what I mean by that is like, if you're scheduled with sports every night, you don't have time to go goof around in the neighborhood with friends, or even have kind of casual play dates where, you're off screens and you're figuring life out and you're, out and about. And I do think that this is the opportunity cost of overscheduling our kids in too many sports. And I think the loss of that is a big deal. And
even Ace, who I've said over and over again is the one who loves sports and being on the teams, 50% of the time he would rather be outside playing with friends and doing activities, playing knockout basketball with the neighborhood kids, or it doesn't always have to be some kind of practice or actual team. He loves just going outside. So you're right. I do think that is super important for childhood. And
I think even for me, like a lot of the roots of like how I fell in love with basketball was actually not through the practices and the games and the scheduled stuff. It was in beating the boys in the driveway. And like the goofing around and the trick shots and
playing horse against dad.
Yeah, playing with dad in the driveway.
I specifically remember dad would never let us win in anything. And he was always like, when you get good enough, you'll know you beat me and you'll be proud of yourself. And I kind of do that to my kids now too. But I love that. And I do remember like playing horse or whatever it was in the driveway over and over and over again. And then finally I did beat him in high school and I was proud of myself. But that is when I think of enjoyment in sports, I go back to those memories. I don't go to like getting yelled at in practice, running sprints,
Yeah. So I do hope that maybe through talking about it, maybe through just continued research on the topic too, we can encourage parents to skip a season to find a medium that leaves some more breathing room for play.
I just think too.
I do also just have a ton of empathy because I'm not convinced that every ecosystem is really set up well for that. And if your kid is average and you're trying to get them to play high school sports, I do understand why parents feel like they gotta kind of lean into that.
I just think there's a happy medium. You know, maybe not taking a season off, but pushing multi-sport, pushing at least one sport per season and staying consistent with it. And like looking around, I think what's worked for us a little bit is we've looked at different, not just the one local team that we know about through school or through different people, but like actually finding leagues that are more competitive and like going after those leagues. So we're not doing travel ball, but we're like getting into more competitive leagues to push the talent and to push the issue a little bit on getting better. So I do think that's kind of what we've done a little bit, and like, you know, staying consistent with doing something. But it's a battle. I don't know. I think there's a happy medium here.
Ace is good. And I think baseball is also just one of those sports. I'll be curious if you can avoid the like really aggressive travel. My guess is you were not going to be able to.
After a season or two, when he starts getting into 10.
Is just trying to do one thing at a time. Yeah. And you'll still have 4 days a week of it. And maybe you can build a network with the moms and like make that more, or other parents, and make that more manageable. But my guess is it's going to be hard to avoid in baseball, just like it's hard to avoid in swim. I think it's easier to avoid in certain sports, but baseball seems particularly nuts.
Yeah, I think they're all nuts if you get to that level, truthfully. I hear soccer parents saying the same thing.
Soccer's nuts. I think soccer's one.
Soccer's nuts. You know.
Basketball's seemingly not nuts till middle school here.
Right.
Just looking at like the CYO leagues, most of them through elementary school are still just doing 1 or 2 practices a week and one on the weekends with like minimal travel. And then I have friends that do basketball in middle school and they're traveling to, you know, an hour or 2 away, but at least it's not in elementary school.
Yeah, I remember, you know, AAU and all those different things, but I do think it is a little bit more prevalent in middle school. You know, we do a summer league. It's still local though, and it's actually really enjoyable, as well as the regular season ball. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I love it for the kids to be active. I think that's important. I do just think that there's a happy medium here of going all the way extreme and booking every single team and every single season. Like, there's got to be a little bit of give here to keep your kids happy, because it is true. Having them just free play with neighborhood kids or kids from school or just even siblings is so important. And I just feel like that is what we're missing when you go.
And I have heard parents go, well, at least they're not on screens when they're at practice every night. And I go, ooh, cringe. Like, they can do other stuff that's not on screens. Like, that is not the only way to get your kid off of too much technology. Right. So I kind of, you're right. And that is hardly the only solution here.
Right. Yeah.
So we'll see. We're just getting into it. I have a ton of empathy for like the next stage. Mm-hmm. But we're going to try to hold the line. No specializing, only a couple times a week, as long as we can.
Right.
And we'll see how that goes.
Hold the line. Hold the line.
I know. There was one going out yesterday for girls flag football, which I was like, oh, cool. Like, I love the idea of girls flag football. But I'm like, Grace, what are you going to give up? Because you were already scheduled to do swim and basketball. Like, what's going to give? And I kind of wanted to do piano, to be honest with you. But I'm like, nope.
I kind of think of those separately, though. Like, there's somebody here that you can come to your house to do piano. And like, I want my kids to do one instrument. I don't care what it is, even if it's singing, guitar, piano. But to me, I'm like, okay, those practices are usually 30 minutes to 45 minutes at this age. They come to your house. That feels a little bit separate. But it does take time. It's not nothing. And it's a cost. Everything's a cost, right? So you kind of have to figure out. That's a whole other topic. But when just
I haven't
doing
found someone
sports,
good. Maybe if I found someone to come to my house, that would feel more chill. I had a lady over COVID who came, but she ended up being kind of not a good fit.
yeah.
But
Intense.
most of them are like they want you to come to their studio, and like to me, that's still me having a schedule. That's still a nightly thing. Like
Right.
that doesn't solve any of my problems. So that's why that one got the nix. So it's like I would love you to learn music.
Right.
That is a value of ours. And I got to figure out a way to do this that doesn't like completely wreck our family situation.
Yeah, that's another thing. It's just family time at home is so nice. And when you get those moments where you take a deep breath and you're like, we don't have anything on the calendar, that is
Well, and
getting so few and
family
far
dinner?
between.
How can you even consider that when you're every night got a thing?
I'll tell you what, we eat at 5:15 or at 8:15. There's no in between. And all my kids' bedtime is usually 7:30 to 8. In, ideally when they're not out doing a sport or something that may be a little later. So it's like, if we're really trying to 7:38 bedtime, it's hard. It's just,
Well, especially, like they have a 6 to 7 practice. It's like,
yeah,
it's hard to get a good dinner in before that because we're still finishing up work. I don't know. Those nights I just kind of give up on family dinner. And again, that's the trade-off, and that's a big trade-off. So
we pushed the issue last Friday. We had practice at 6 p.m. on Friday, but that used to be our family go to a restaurant night. And I love going out to a casual place. And so I pushed the issue where at 7:30 we all met at our local pizza place, and it was super casual. But Ace
why am I
and
nervous?
Phil Ace and Phil were at a baseball thing, so they were coming to meet us. I had the two girls, and they were a little behind. And we had two tired girls. They were not chill. They were just, it was just one of those moments where one was crying, the other one was, fighting over, they gave them crayons to color with. And it was just, it was so bad actually that the place came up and, they kept going, "You're doing great, Mom. Hang in there."
That's bad.
A stranger comes up and says, "You're doing great." It's just a scene. And I was like,
you're in the pit of despair.
And then I was like, "Can I get a glass of Chardonnay?" And then I forgot. The place was like, "We don't serve alcohol." And I was like,
oh God.
This is not going my way.
No. That's like an immediate abort mission. We're out of here. That's not
pretty much what I did. I was like, we're going to take it to go. We're going to wrap this up here. So anyways. All right. Well,
sports.
That was a good topic for today. I'm sure we'll talk more about it, but I do love sports. I think it's super important for kids to be involved in. There just has to be a happy medium to get to a healthier place, to not overload your kids with too much of it. So
hold the line, prioritize play and family dinners.
That's right.
Okay, cool. All right. What's your obsession?
My obsession is I am cheap on some things, and I don't know why, but like I had the same razor forever, and razors aren't even that expensive. I just like never upgraded. So
why am I imagining like a rusty mess over there? What
kind of like it switched the head of the razor. It wasn't like super dirty or like causing infections over here, but it was like just not a nice one. And I went out, and I think I was at Target, and I was exploring the aisle, and I was so embarrassed to find out that like they were like $10, like the upgraded ones. Some of them were like 10 to 20, but I went with this Billy razor. And it was like $10. It's cute. It's sparkly. It hangs on my shower perfectly. And it's just a game changer. It's one of those things that like once you change something in your life minor, you're like, why have I not been doing this forever? Why was I holding the line on that ridiculous razor? Just, I don't know. So anyways, that's my obsession, is my new Billy razor.
Maybe I'll try it. I still use the cheapies just so I can replace them all the time, but
it was $10. And it was not expensive. It's such a game changer. And
I'll try it.
Yeah, I would highly recommend.
I'm influenced. I'll try it.
Yeah. What about you? What's your obsession this week?
So Grace's soccer team got to pick their own team name, and she prides herself on being a good namer of things. and she really put a lot into it. And she was so proud because they picked her name, the Side Pony Strikers, which I thought was great.
That is cute.
And then one of the other moms was like, oh, there's a great song called Side Pony. And we put it on, and I'm freaking obsessed with this song.
I don't know it.
Lake Street Dive. I have never heard of this band before. Not that I'm on like the cutting edge of music, but
right.
And then I looked up. They've been out for years. But I do think they had a new album, and I just over the last week got really into this song Side Pony, and then also just started listening to all their other stuff. I love it. It's great.
What's the vibe? Is it like upbeat? Is it poppy? What's the...
me describing music, I'm sure would make someone at Rolling Stone roll over in their grave. But I would say jazzy, poppy,
okay,
bluesy, indie.
Oh my.
I overcooked it.
You overcooked it. You've created a new genre all of a sudden no one's ever heard of.
Listen to it, then you're like, oh, that's
pop.
Yeah.
It's gonna be pop.
It's definitely got like a bluesy energy to me.
Okay.
Side Pony. See if you like them.
What's the name again?
I'm going to spare you. Side Pony from Lake Street Dive.
Lake Street Dive. Okay, got it.
And maybe just like hit Lake Street Dive album on Spotify and like listen to a couple of them. I've been
putting Spotify on in the background. I'm always looking for new music.
Putting around to Lake Street Dive. Obsessed.
Okay. All right, here I am. I'm going to look it up.
All right. I think we're at time. Good chatting with you.
Yeah, that's a wrap.
See you next week. Okay, Lilas.
See you next week. Lilas.